Powered by Riverside.
I'll wave the flag since the boys on the post game don't get it, don't like it. I don't get them. They're sticks in the mud, as we normally do after on every other one of our morning after shows. Welcome to Blue Banner Today. I'm Tim Kruger. Thanks for joining. Hit that subscribe button. It helps us out a ton when you do that. And please share this with all your friends. Also helps us out a ton. Been growing and growing again. Thanks for those of you who stayed up extremely late last night and hung with us. It was a late night. I understand that, and thanks for staying with us. We had some difficulties, and hopefully those are behind us, and we've got things figured out going forward. So thanks so much. Let's get to our sponsors first of all, till I talk about some things from last night's game and just some general things on Creighton right now. And that's first RTI Threads. Go to rtithreads.com. Get all your Creighton apparel. They're a licensed provider of Creighton apparel and also the exclusive apparel provider of Blue Jay Banner. As we said last night in our postgame, not only do we have the sharp quarter zips, the Blue Jay Banner ones, but also we've got some T-shirts coming here that we should be having here in the next few days. So there'll be things we'll hand out. We'll have them up for purchase as well. If you'd like, I'll probably put on the quarter zip here on Friday, and I'll kind of show you fans if you'd like one, because we had a lot of compliments on it. We can get you one for a small price. So if you're interested in having one, let us know. We'll get you some stuff from RTI Threads. They're really helping us out with a lot of stuff. So they're a terrific company. And check out all the great stuff. They have new stuff all the time, too, which is really great. So rtithreads.com. And then also Infusion Brewing. Go to Infusion Brewing Company and infusionbrewing.com. Check out all their hours for the tasting room. I don't know what they've got, if they got something going on tonight or not, but check it out on the web. It'd be a great place to go or start out the day. Maybe be a great place to go watch the Husker game today. A great tasting room and great beer. I can't emphasize it enough. And while you're there today, stop and get some of that dill pickle beer so you can pour some in your Bloody Mary tomorrow morning when you're not maybe feeling the best and want to get a start on the big championship games tomorrow. So check them out. That's infusionbrewing.com. All right, so Jays win 89-85, improved to 3-0 in the Big East. We're going to get into a little bit of globally what they're doing conference-wise, overall, NCAA tournament-wise, and so forth. I think it'd be nice to review some of these stats. We did go over them last night, but I think some of them really stand out. It's really weird that both teams made exactly 31 baskets, and that Butler had 12 more shots. Now, when somebody has 12 more shots, the first thing I look at is turnovers. Turnovers are pretty even. Butler had 2 less. The other one I look at is rebounding, obviously. And Butler had 12 more, 11 more offensive rebounds than Creighton did. And they had 12 more shots. There you go. There's the difference in the shots. However, as Max said in his postgame, Creighton's second chance defense was very good and limited the amount of buckets they got. Sure, they got some dunks and some easy ones, but they also had some very contested ones. And, I don't think Mac understated it at all when he talked about Josh Dix and his defense. And I think Matt DeMaria's a White Blue Review. Hope Matt's feeling fine. Put out a tweet last night. He said, if Josh isn't careful, that Defensive Player of the Year trophy's coming back to Omaha again. And the job he's done, and Mac mentioned it, you start stacking up the guys he's had to guard this year. Unbelievable job that he's done on those guys. And he's a different kind of defensive player. He's quicker than he looks, I think, number one. But number two, he's a big kid. He's got some size, so he can get out and really contest. And if you notice, there's not a lot of guys that he's guarded that are able to get their shot off. Shelsted's a terrific player for Oregon. He guarded the Iowa State guards, Baylor guards, Nebraska guards. I mean, he's guarded some of the best guards in the country, and obviously, last night, Bizjack, you'd have to rank him up there as one of the top guards in our conference, and held him to 1 of 7 shooting. They really didn't have much from the 3-point line. Kaiser I thought was very impressive from 3. Had a good stroke. And let me go back to something last night in the post-game show, all right? And if you don't understand what I'm saying, just watch the post-game and you will. The comment was made last night. Well, I don't like the way the ball goes out of. My comment was Bizjack is an outstanding 3-point shooter, and the comment was made. Well, I don't like the way the ball comes off his hand. I don't think he's that good of a shooter. I'm like, are you kidding me? The dude shot 42% from 3 last year. He's at 34 this year, but that's way down from what he's capable of doing. I mean, he's a 3-point shooter. That's what he's recruited for. And don't like the ball coming off his hand. I think he's got a beautiful rotation. I think his shot's gorgeous. Speaking of gorgeous shots, Kaiser's got a great shot. But it's just silly talk. But I mean, he did a great job on Bizjack. There's just no way about it. And then Jason Green took the challenge to Ajay. I don't know how everybody pronounces it differently, but it's Ajay, Michael Ajay, former Gonzaga player. Yeah, he got some, but he made it really tough on him. He got a couple of tough calls, and I think Thad referenced it in a very nice way without getting fined. That he wasn't very happy with those calls, but they got away with some fouls too. I mean, they're just very physical. I could see that game refed a different way. It's very unusual for Creighton to be on the wrong end of the foul total, and they were last night in both halves. Very surprising. And so that lets you know that they were letting them play. Usually when Potter's on the floor, he's one ref that lets him play. Chiaz, as I said last night in postgame, is just awful. He's just an awful referee. And once again, just made the worst call of the night with Josh Dix, who went straight up. I don't know what he's supposed to do there. He went straight up the player when they knew him, and he called a foul. It's just in a late whistle. Just odd. At any rate, that was about it for them from 3. I mean, they were 8 of 26 overall. So they were they shot 46% in the second half, but that was because Haywood hit 3 right at the end in like 30 seconds. So you take away those 3, and they would have shot 3 of 13 in the second half. That would have looked a lot different. We held them to 15% in the first half. And I think Mac has done that before. It's like, okay, I'm okay if you want to shoot 2s. Because in this day and age, guys have trouble shooting 2s. We've got a guy, Blake Harper, who's good at shooting 2s, especially when he gets in the circle down there. Dix has a nice turnaround, little 10, 15-foot jump shot. We've got guys, Schwartz is the same way. So we've got guys that can make that shot. A lot of teams don't. It's either a 3 or nothing. So, on the other hand, we were once again very efficient from 3. Shot 40% for the game, almost 41%. And free throws was the name of the game. Our free throw percentage is really good this year. That's really helped us win several games. last night was, we didn't get to the line nearly as much as, normally we get to the line more than the other team, and we didn't last night, but we still were able to convert when we got there. 14 out of 15 is great. And, guys like Jason Green knocking them down. Rob Anderson also had a text last night about Schwartz, which was incredible to me. He was the only player in D1 until last night that had played over 200 minutes and had not had a free throw attempt. That seems almost impossible. But that's it is what it is, right? That's what he had. But he went to the line. He did miss one, but still, he knocked down some nice free throws there last night as well. On the season, so let's go to season stats because I want to take a look at where we've been on the free throw line this season. So we are currently in the free throws. We're at 75% from the free throw line. That's outstanding. 165, made 165. We've shot 219. We've got some free throwers who are getting it done. Josh Dix, of course, leading the way at 92%. Who would have thought we'd have a guy up there in Ashworth territory? You've got Green and Graves. Graves, too, was another guy. Of course, he got to line a lot last year at Charlotte, so we already knew maybe we had that coming in. Blake Harper shot 47 free throws because he gets fouled a lot when he gets that ball down low, and we spoke last night about how he's really got to take that role. I know Austin's comment was, well, he looks uncomfortable. I don't see that. He just got to learn that's his bread and butter. He's got to post up more down there and take the ball when he has the opportunity on one-on-one and get the ball down there. Now, he doesn't want to get the ball stuck. I think that's probably, to Austin's point, that's probably in his head a little bit because obviously they've gone on this 4-game win streak by moving the ball. And at times, if you remember, it stuck with Graves, it stuck with Harper. It just got stuck with people on the floor. But he's at 80%, so no real surprise there because he's a good free throw shooter. Let's see what else we got. We don't have anybody else that shot significant free throws. It'd be great if Isaac Trout get the line more. He's an 80% free throw shooter as well. But anyway, we're at 75%. That's really, really, really terrific. Karam's at 7 for 12. So, you've got two guys. Karam at 7 for 12. Oddly enough, obviously didn't get to play much, but Jackson was 3 of 6 this year from the free throw line, which is really strange because he's a great free throw shooter. But, you kick out Karam's 7 for 12. You're looking at close to 80% free throw shooting for the team. So that's going to win you a lot of ball games. Man, it does. Look at last night. We survived those 3 crazy threes at the end because we made our free throws. 3-point percentage, we're at 35%. I mean, obviously that's jumped up a lot. We were down in the low 30s, high 20s for a while. Let's see how that grows as we move along here. And Mac mentioned too that Josh Dix is playing so many minutes, so hard on defense that it's suffering a little bit on the offensive end. I get that, and I think Mac's okay with that trade-off. But you want the kid to be rewarded on the offensive end for working so hard on the defensive end. So hopefully that turns around, and he does need to get him. But man, Ty did not have a good night last night. That one stretch where he turned it over 3 times in like less than a minute. We just can't have that. We just can't have that. He does so many good things and gets the ball moving and plays so hard on defense. And last night came in and got some good rebounds, offensive rebounds. We can't have him turn that ball over. Surprisingly, because Butler's pressure was a little bit of a factor last night. So as we look ahead, That's what's coming Sunday. Seton Hall's very big-time pressure, full-court pressure, half-court pressure. Their half-court defense is in your face. So we're going to have to take advantage of screens, pick and rolls, penetrating to the basket when we do get by a guy, and then getting our dishes that way for three. Luckily, Seton Hall's not offensively talented as this Butler team was. They struggled to score. Now, last night they scored a lot of points. They were in the 70s. But again, went on some insane 13-0 run at the end of the game. They've done that a few times this year. It kind of reminds you of the Chicago Bears in football that somehow, some way they pull out these games at the end, and that's what Seton Hall did last night. They were looking like they were going 1-2, and, would have lost to Marquette at this point, who most people have at or near the bottom of the league in projections. On the road, it wouldn't have been as bad, but still, it's not good. That kind of kept them in. I have said this, and I knock on wood. We're playing them Sunday. Doesn't mean we're going to beat them. We could lose, and I'd probably still keep the same opinion. I think they're a little bit overrated simply because they're on the East Coast and they're so close to New York. The New York media is pumping them up. And as AJ said last night, another thing is they're such a surprise to people that they're off to a start. And this brings me to my next point about Creighton and the NCAA tournament and their standing. They moved up to 49 in the net today. And a guy does excellent work, made for March. One of the bracketologists, one of the guys I know nationally, does great work. He tweeted out something that's very interesting, and I know it was one thing that we looked at when the schedule came out was Creighton has 2-3 game stretches that are just going to decide it. One of those starts now where they go on the road at Seton Hall, on the road at Villanova, home to St. John's. And then the other stretch is later in the year when we have Villanova at home and then go back-to-back. It's in February. We go back-to-back to St. John's and UConn. That's really tough. He said if they go 2-3 and 2-1 and 2-1, he goes, they're going to make the NCAA tournament. I think that's maybe a little overboard because in that stretch, you're playing 4 road games against the top teams in the league. And so you win 2 and you're saying you're going to split those 4 road games against the top teams in the league. That's the Jays could do it. I'm just saying that's putting a lot on their plate to say they have to do that or they won't make the tournament. What I don't understand is this, and obviously it's human nature, and it's the fact that obviously we went through that bad stretch where we couldn't beat anybody in late November and early December. The Jays, I don't know why they're being held to a different standard than these other teams. That's what I don't understand. Like that comment he made, and again, I'm not criticizing his comment. I'm just saying that I think it's a little overboard to say to Creighton, hey, you've got to win, these games to get in, because I don't understand why Creighton has to go on that stretch to get in, but yet you're somehow. And I would love to see where, I would love to get his comment on Butler. But, Butler's 10-4, we're 9-5. Okay, what's the difference? The difference is they have a win over Virginia, a team a lot of people are not sure of right now because Virginia hadn't played a very tough schedule either. When you compare Creighton's resume and Butler's, really not a whole lot of difference. In fact, Creighton has more combined quad 1 and 2 wins. Butler lost at UConn, which almost everybody's going to do. They lost at SMU. Good SMU team. They beat Virginia on a neutral floor. Then they've lost to Creighton on the road. So they've got 3 road losses. They lost to Boise State. Good team. And then they they beat Northwestern on a neutral site in a very close game. And Northwestern is not even close to making the field right now. I think the difference is they've got a couple quad 3 wins, but I don't know why Butler isn't held to the same standard. Like, hey, if they want to make the tournament, they've got to do X, Y, and Z. Now we're way early on here, okay? So I get that, okay? But Seton Hall would be another one. Why? We've got Big East teams really jammed in. Butler's 44, Seton Hall's 45, Creighton 49 in the net right now. Seton Hall's difference is they too have 3 quad 1 and 2 wins, but 2 of them are quad 1 wins. A little bit weird because we played Butler at home and we played Butler on the road. That would have been a quad 1. But they did beat Kansas State and we lost to them. So that's probably the one you can look at. They also beat North Carolina State, a team that was ranked at the time, now has slipped a little bit, but they're still top 40 in the net. And then beat a really, in my opinion, bad Providence team on the road in a close game. The other thing that too is hurting Creighton is who would have thunk, like even hurting Seton Hall, it's hurting everybody. Who would have thunk Marquette would be a quad 4 win to start the season? I mean, they're quad 4. They're a high quad or a low quad 3 right now. That's where the win over Marquette fell for Seton Hall last night. So again, other than that, really not a whole lot. Back to Creighton for a second though. So if you've watched any of my other shows where I've gotten into bracketology a little bit, and I'm really going to get into it here now. That's the first of the year. Over at Bracketville, where I'm a member of with Dave Ullman, one of the best in the business, we have what we call BV rankings, and the BV rankings are basically you take the WAB, which is wins above bubble, the strength of record, SOR, and net. Those 3 rankings, average them out, and then rank the teams. So those are why those 3 of the 6 metrics that are on the team sheets. Why those 2, and then also the net, because we did a deep dive into other people have too, and we took some of their knowledge and then did a deeper dive ourselves, and found out that last year's committee, which is made up mostly of the same members, leaned heavily on strength of record and WAB, which was the new metric last year, wins above bubble. And they've always leaned heavily. Every committee, ever since it came out, has leaned heavily on net. So we feel that's important metric. And importantly, on the WAB, we've climbed to 55. So if you're thinking about that, like what does that mean as far as making the field? Right now, there's 44 teams making the field, including the automatics of the power conferences and the 31 at-larges. So you go down to like the 44th slot, and that's where everybody falls, 44 and above. So we're at 55. So we've got about 11 rankings to go, but we were in the 80s just about a week and a half, 2 weeks ago. And the win last night really helped in that metric, helps us because Butler is on the bubble. So that was a win for us over the bubble. Butler's, that Virginia win is really wearing well for them as far as their metrics go, because although they've slipped a little bit now with the loss to UConn and the loss to us, their WAP's down to 43. So they were higher than that earlier. So their KenPom, we actually have a better KenPom than Butler does. We're at 44, they're at 49. So our net and KenPom are flipped. So we're climbing right into the conversation. I would say my next bracket that'll come out the end of the week, or sorry, where are we at? We're on Wednesday. So it'd be the beginning of next week. The bracket I just came out, we were second out before last night's game. I would say probably next week, Creighton's probably still going to be second 4 out. Although if they beat Seton Hall, that would probably move them at least to first 4 out. Maybe even past Seton Hall, maybe would drop out then. Even though they would still be at 12-3 with that Virginia win. I'm sorry, not Virginia, North Carolina State and Kansas State win. And that's a team to watch, like Kansas State. How are they going to do in the Big 12? I think they have the potential to win some games there, so that's something to watch as we move on. All right, well, no show tomorrow, by the way, so enjoy the day, enjoy tonight. Happy birthday, be safe out there. And then we'll be back on Friday with Mike Rochon doing another one of our game previews. We're going to preview the Sunday game against Seton Hall. So make sure and hit that subscribe button. We mentioned this last night. Our analytics show that like 60% of you that watch this show are not subscribers. And if you were just subscribers, it would help us out leaps and bounds because we are getting tremendous views on our shows right now. And we thank you for that. So if you'd please hit that subscribe button, it helps us out a lot. We gained a bunch of subscribers last night, so we want to keep growing this. The more we grow this, the more things we can do. We can give you more live coverage, more, in-game coverage, more road coverage, go in the games, and hopefully postseason we can go and do a lot of postseason stuff, which is gives you a lot of insight into what's going on when you're back here in Omaha watching the games or around the country watching them. So thank you to that. Don't forget about our product when you see that. If you just send us an email, very simply, you can just send us an email right here to bluejaybanner@gmail.com. There it is. Just send an email there and say, hey, I'm very interested in purchasing either your quarter zip or some of your tees. How much is it? And we'll let you know. And we'll set you up. All right. Thanks so much. Happy New Year, everybody. And we'll be back with you Friday.